the luxury of self-destruction to be self-aware. Wow, my malfunctions into this reverse. Smile, I walk to get a drink from the machine. Wow, my malfunctions. Ah, the luxury of self-destruction to be self-aware.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to 11 Australia Pro Series on YouTube. My name is Rachel Vitullo. I am the global brand artist for 11 Australia. I'm so excited to be back here live with you all today. I love coming on here and just talking to you all and sharing everything that I know and love to do. So today is really exciting. We are talking about all things curly hair. This is something for me that I think is really important to showcase, talk about, and also talk how 11 Australia help you. If you are a curly hair girl like myself, you know finding the right routine is trial and error. And sometimes you get it right in the first go, sometimes you don't, sometimes you have to trial a lot of different things. We're here today to show you how 11 Australia can help you with your curly hair. One thing in particular, which I'm so excited to talk about today, is one of our brand new additions to our 11 Australia portfolio, and it is the Keep My Curl Defining Foam. This product we have been working on really hard in the back end just to get right. We speak to a lot of curly hair people. And like I said, if you're a curly hair girl out there like me, you know that there are all different types of curls. So what we wanted to make sure that we did with a curl defining foam is give you exactly what it says that it does. So like I mentioned, this is a fantastic addition to what we already have within our curl range. We have our Keep My Curl Defining Shampoo and Conditioner, which if you've used it before, you know it's super lightweight in its texture. It's fantastic for fine hair curly clients, but also for medium to thick hair curly clients. With the hyaluronic acid, the niacinamide, and the ceramide, it just keeps the integrity of the curl the priority the entire time. We also have Keep My Curl Defining Cream, which has been within our portfolio for a long time and has done a fantastic job in a cream-based product to define curl. And then with our new curl defining foam, this is a fantastic addition to help create and shape and mold curl that you have, which is fantastic. So what we're going to do today is I have a model that I'm going to bring on soon. I'm going to walk you through how to use the curl defining foam. You know, people ask the question on when to apply it within your regime or how does it fit in with the regime that you already have. So I'm going to help walk you through all of that today. I wanted to talk about curly hair first. I feel like it's important as a hairdresser to be competent in all types of texture, whether that is straight hair, wavy hair, curly hair, or coily hair. It's important, like what we do in our industry is make people look and feel beautiful. And I feel if somebody comes and sits in your chair, it's so important to be confident or at least have knowledge in the texture that you're working with. So anybody can sit in your chair and you can help them feel beautiful. And once again, that's where 11 Australia come into place. A lot of people don't look into our routine and our portfolio enough to know that we can cater to any type of hair, which is incredible. Whether it's our Smooth Me Now, our volume range, or our texture range, or now our beautiful curl range, any single person that sits in our chair, we can help make you feel beautiful. So curly hair, there are lots of different types of curly hair. And I think it's important to understand what those types are. A lot of people are afraid when their client sits in their chair to ask them how they wear their hair at home. It's important to know how somebody wears their curly hair at home because that's how you're going to know how to cut it. That's how you're going to know how to style it. That's how you're going to know what products to reach for in order to create the beautiful end result that they need as well. Any client that leaves you is a walking representation of you as well. So it's important for clients that if they don't know how they wear they don't know how to style their hair at home, it's great to educate them and teach them. I have a lot of curly hair clients that come in and we just do a session where I walk them through products and cocktailing of products and application and, you know, scrunching it in or finger coiling it in or those sorts of things. So then when they leave the salon and they go home, they know that their regime when they're home, and they can continue keeping that style beautiful in between their visits with you. So the education behind it is also important if you have clients that are just unsure. For me, I feel like the more questions you ask, the better information you get back on your client. I also think curly hair clients, like I said, they vary between person to person. So it's always good within the entire service, touch base with them. How's this feeling for you? Do you like the way this curl is placed? Do you like the curl to form onto your face, or do you like the curl to form away from your face? Is there any specific parting that you like? So asking those kinds of questions are really important to get the most information out, because I think we know as well, for any curly hair specialist or curly hair girls out there, once you're set, you're set. And so to kind of revert back and start again and trial that again is just so much time and effort. I was actually talking to the model that you'll meet in a second about curly hair, and you know, you set it one day and there are some people that wake up the next day and their hair's still just as beautiful, and then there are some people where you have to wake up and reset. So once again, it's talking to your clients about what they need to do when they're at home and how our products can help you as well. Without further ado, I'm going to bring out our beautiful model Falia. She's going to come and sit down, and don't get a jump scare, because one side of her hair is already done and then the other side is not. So what I'm going to show you, we've got one side of her hair already sitting and setting. I'm going to walk you through how I got to that point, and then by the time that side is setting and ready to go, the other side will be dry and we can walk through how to break the curl away. And I'll dive more into the defining foam when we get into there. So Falia, come in and take a seat. Like I said, don't get a jump scare, because we have, and always whenever I'm on here doing these YouTube lives, I get confused with the inverted camera. So this side we have already got done and set, and you can see the difference between the side that just has absolutely nothing. Falia has beautiful curly hair. I see Falia a lot, and whenever I see her, her curl is just fantastic. So this is a great example of somebody that understands how to apply product and how to set curly hair. But wanted to talk to you about keywords to ask your clients, key things to say in order to get the best information out of your client on how they want their hair set for the day. Some clients like their curls to be extremely defined and then not touched. Some curly hair people like to have more of a different type of texture, where it's like a little bit more organic, a little bit more raw, not super polished. Some clients like to start off with that beautiful structure of curl, and then they like to break it away. So still keeping a lot of that definition in there, but pulling it apart. So breaking this up, which I'm going to show you how to do after. Some curly hair girls like to just scrunch the product in and just leave it. So we're going to walk through how I execute more of a defined curl and breaking that away for a really organic curl effect. The beautiful thing about 11 Australia is that it is so hard not to overload on products. And I think that's such a great thing when you're introducing somebody into product. There's nothing worse when you've put too much in and you're a bit stuck. So you can build and layer a lot of the 11 Australia products to give a fantastic soft result, but then you can layer for it to become stronger, which is amazing. We're going to dampen down Falia's hair first. When you are molding curl products in and you're defining curly hair, it's important to go from really, really wet hair. So what I like to do is keep a water spray with me and then dampen down as the sections I go. Keeping the hair very, very wet is opening the cuticle, allowing the product to penetrate in, and also allowing the product to lubricate through the hair more for a more even distribution of the product. Sometimes when you talk product through people that are unaware on the correct application, essentially they will just go and put a whole heap of product into their hand, work it through their hand, and then go straight in on the top. And what that does is it concentrates on the top outer shell of the hair, and the exterior of the hair could look defined, or it could look, that you could control the frizz, or you can define the curl a bit more, but everything that sits underneath stays untouched. And that's where shape can change in curly hair. You can create quite a triangular shape, and if people don't want that, you need to make sure that you apply that product evenly. So it's once again all about talking through. And I think once again, the fantastic thing about social media and what I love so much is that there is a lot of education out there too. So, after our hangout today, if you want to deep dive more into different curly hair applications, we have a bunch of that as well, which is fantastic. So, you know me, I can talk for hours. We're going to go straight into it because that's what you want to see. You want to see it all happening. So, like I said, this is Felia's hair just all brushed out, and we are going to dampen it down section by section and then go in and apply our product. Now, this may look like the detangle spray, but it's actually water. So what I've done is I've actually used this entire detangle spray and I filled it up with water. So this is going to be my water spray today. If you want to intermix a water spray in with a detangle spray, that's a fantastic cocktail to do. The detangle spray will help any sensitivity that sits on a scalp. So the detangle spray has an ingredient called yarrow, and that helps fight against any sensitivity on the scalp and gives like a little bit of a barrier on the scalp too. And for its obvious name, detangle will help detangle the curls as you work up. So if you wanted to cocktail a water spray in with the detangle, you are more than welcome to do that. It's fantastic for a refresh in between. So styled your hair, you go to bed, you wake up, and you need to redefine what's there, you can intermix like a little bit of water and a little bit of detangle spray, and that will help rake out any sort of imperfections or any tangles that you have, any curls that sort of meshed in together that you want to redefine. That can help without ruining the entire structure of the hair. What I like to do, and with the foam, like I said, we're going to talk about when to apply it, how to apply it, that sort of thing. In my professional opinion, I like to go in with our cream-based products first and then go in and apply any sort of defining foams after. The cream-based products will help once again lubricate the hair, and then the foam is to structure and shape the curl. So the cream-based products will help moisture the hair. We were talking a little bit before as well about how Felia's hair tends to get a little dry, and organic curly hair does sit a little on the drier side naturally. So it's the more defined you want your curl, the more hydration you need to penetrate into the hair. And that's where these two products come in. So I love cocktailing the Miracle Hair Treatment with the Keep My Curl Defining Cream. What this does is cocktailing the two, it gives all the fantastic benefits that Miracle Hair Treatment has, the UVA, the UVB, detangler, hydration, repairing, all the good, beautiful things that Miracle has. And then you've got your defining cream that kickstarts the definition that the curl needs. So what I like to do is, like I said, cocktail the two together. So I'll take 1 or 2 pumps of the Miracle. And then it's this inverted camera. It is the smallest amount because I'm working section by section. So you can see you've got a little bit of Miracle and a little bit of the Keep My Curl Defining Foam, Defining Cream. We will go in and dampen down Felia's hair first. And like I said, the wetter the hair is, the better the end result is going to be. So you can see her hair is very wet now. I'll go in and I'll work in the Miracle Hair Treatment and the Keep My Curl Defining Cream together. And what we're going to do is right in on that root area, we are going to apply the product. And this product, like I said, is going right in from the root all the way into the ends of her hair. A lot of people are afraid to apply product into the root area because they think it's going to appear oily, or it might weigh it down, or it might start going quite flat on the root area. You'll find that without product application sitting on that scalp area, you'll get the incredible definition that you need through the mid legs and the ends, but then the frizz is going to start in on the root area. And that is not something that we want. We want a fantastic defined curl that is frizz free from root all the way to the end. And this is when you're setting the hair too. So now there's a few ways that you can go in with your foam and set this curl. So I'll give you a couple of options first, and then we will walk through the way that I'm doing it. So the Keep My Curl Defining Foam, and it's inverted again. So there we go. Keep My Curl Defining Foam. What I love about this product is the Arrow and the Marula oil. So having those two cocktailed through, once again, I think the beautiful thing about 11 is that we use ingredients that people know. So you can tell using the aloe and the marula oil is just going to hydrate the hair in the best way possible. This also has a anti-humidity in there. So as seasons change, or as we get into winter, we're in summer in Australia at the moment, so it's amazing. But Melbourne, where we're situated, we have a little bit of a wet summer sometimes, so the humidity really pumps through. So this product is fantastic to keep that outside moisture and to not bring that frizz back in. When I first played with the product, I was like, oh, it reminds me of a shaving foam. So what I love about it, and when I first started playing with it in the initial making of the product, what I loved is that it is extremely lightweight. So as I'm working it through my hands, I can feel that it's soft. This product is used to set a cast within the curl. So if you're unsure on what a cast is, essentially it's a shell, like a cocoon. So it'll create a cocoon around the curl to keep the structure there. And then once you break away that cast, and that cast can feel slightly stiff as it's setting, and that's okay. As you break away that cast, a lot of that product is broken away with it, and it brings out that beautiful soft curl at the end. Now, like I said, there's a few ways that you can set curly hair. One way for more of a organic fall and just allow the curly hair to be as it wants it to be, is you can come in with your hands and your fingers like this on this direction, and then you come in with the other hand and you go down on that one section. And what that does is create almost 9 different curls. So you come all the way to the bottom and just rake your fingers through all the way to the bottom. Then you release that tension, you give the hair a little bit of a shake. Then you take that entire section, and in the palm of your hands, you bring all of that hair together right up to the root area, and then you squish. The best way to know that you've applied enough product into this sort of technique is when you squish, you feel that product sort of mushing into the hair. That's the best way to know that you've actually applied enough product. And you can see by doing that technique that you have a really nice, like I said, raw, organic feel to the curl. Falia likes quite a defined curl, and she likes to see, as you can see on this side, she likes to see each individual curl as it lays. So for Falia today, we're actually going to go in, and the sections that you take as you work up can be quite random as well. As long as you take a nice clean horizontal section, the section away the hair that you don't need, you can just take pieces of hair, twist around your finger as you work all the way down. And then what I like to do is just bounce that end up to get that organic fall. You'll notice as you dive into playing with curly hair more, that each curl will move at a different direction. So I think it's important to know, okay, which way that hair is wanting to curl. If you try and go too hard to force it in a direction or a way that it just doesn't want to go, you're going to be fighting against that curl for a really long time. So I like to just work however the curl wants to organically start turning and work that all the way through. So like I mentioned, we're just going to take random size chunks. They don't always need to be the same size all the way around. I feel like sometimes that once again gives quite a unnatural look to the curl. So you can just take sections as you need, and you can see by how that's laying, we're already getting that nice individual definition through the curl. Now, depending on the density, the thickness of the curly hair that you're working with is going to vary between how many sections you take as you work up. So it's important to always look at curly hair, how thick it is, how fine it is, where they like it positioned. More often than not, the very ends are going to need a lot more of the water spray. Just going to take a wide tooth comb and I'm just going to rake once again, 2 pumps of Miracle, smallest amount of the Keep My Curl Defining Cream, and that's getting applied from the root all the way to the end. Now, do we need to do this 3-step process all the time? No. It's going to vary between the end result that the client wants. Like I said, if the client loves the way that their hair organically falls or the way that their curl organically sits, and they just want to define it ever so slightly, you can just go in with the foam on its own. If you're in a situation where you have a lot of frizz that you want to define or curl that you want to structure, and sometimes curl needs that little bit of help in order to spring up or enhance, this 3-step combo is your fantastic go-to. Small amount of the defining foam. And once again, like I was mentioning before, you want this applied from the root all the way to the ends. And a lot of people can be a little scared about using a foam where they think that their hair will look too crunchy or the hair will look like there's too much product in it. The moment that the hair is 100% dry, that gives you the ability to break away the cast. And like I mentioned before, a lot of that stiffness that the product has breaks away with it. So you need an element of a hold factor within a curl foam, because without the hold factor in there, you're just not going to get the beautiful definition of the curl that you need. So as I mentioned, there's plenty of different ways that you can set this curly hair. And look, so sometimes as you go, you may need to work it down more, which I might even do here. Sometimes you may need to take, like I said, smaller sections. It all depends on how your client wants their curls to look. And it's just asking the question. A lot of people are afraid to ask their clients questions because then they think sometimes they may feel like the client may think that they're incompetent, or the client may think that they don't know what they're doing. A lot of my clients that I ask plenty of questions to, they thank me because they're like, I appreciate that you value my input as well. on being like, does this feel good? Does this look good? How's this feeling? Are you feeling confident with this? Is this sitting how you would normally? Or if you're trialing something new, like if your client wears their curly hair in a specific way and they're like, you know what, I just want to try something different. Is there any other way that I can style my curly hair? You know, if you workshop different styles with your client as well, the whole way through, how's this feeling? Is this feeling okay? Is this feeling good? I have one quite coily client, and whenever we set her hair, it's like if there's what she's got that kind of curl that however you set it is however that curl's going to stay that entire time. And so we'll always look at like one little strand. She'll be like, oh, this one strand is just not sitting right. And I know it's going to bug me the whole time until I wash my hair again. So I will always ask, how's this one sitting? How's that sitting? How's this falling onto your face? A lot of clients, like some clients like to have a lot of volume within their curls. Some clients like to have it sit quite flat. And like I said, they're the questions that you need to ask when you're styling. And that all plays a role in how you lay the curl too. And I can talk to, when I get to the top of Felia's hair, I can walk you through how to create volume in on the top and then also how to have hair sitting quite flat with the curl. If you have a lot of education and knowledge behind curly hair, you'll also know that in most cases, the curl pattern changes throughout. So they may have one type in the back and then a completely different type in the front. And that also plays a role in how you set the hair as well. Sometimes the hair organically can curl in a really beautiful way in the back, and that may need minimal product and minimal technique and minimal like definition. And then the hair around the front sometimes just doesn't want to do what it wants to do, and that's when you need to mold it a bit more. You're probably going to think I'm sounding like a broken record, but a little bit of miracle. Hair treatment, keep my curl defining cream. And just a reminder, in on the root and then in on the mid-lengths and ends. Like I was mentioning before, 11 Australia, it's very hard to overload on our product. So do not be afraid to go in. I feel like you need to go in quite intense to know what your limits are. I feel like you almost need to do it once and then go, okay, that's where I know I can continue to do that, or that's when I know that didn't really work out for me. I feel like you got to trial it. And in some, like I said, some clients, the amount of product that you use will work in some situations, and in some situations it just may not. Now, you may watch this as a curly hair person and be like, you know what, that's just too much work for me. I just don't have time for that. That is just not in my regime. This isn't the only way to define curl, create curl. This is a way that Felia loves. And she puts a lot of time into her curl because she knows that the kind of curl that she likes requires that little bit of work. So if this type of technique that I'm doing on you is just not something that you can see yourself doing, like I mentioned before, there are plenty other ways to create a beautiful curl in your hair. Whether it's just you get out of the shower, your hair is sopping wet. Like I said, your hair has to be very drenched in order for products to be lubricated correctly, the cuticle to stay open, that sort of thing. If you just come out of the shower and your hair is super damp, apply the Miracle hair treatment and you can just go in and scrunch in the defining foam. If a foam is a product that you know, love and want to use. So as I mentioned, this doesn't always have to be, this isn't the only way. This is just a really nice way to, I feel, give Felia the curl that she loves, which is good. Now you're probably thinking, oh, how many twists is she doing? How many times is she wrapping the hair around her finger and dragging it down? This is going to vary with however the curl is. So what I like to do is just work on the curl organically So I'll twist and drag down. And if I think, okay, that's defining the curl enough, like here, I'll work down and go, okay, that's not defining it in the way that I like. It needs a little bit more of a twist as it works down for that product to mold all the way through to sit. And you can see that sits much better. Drop this top section. I always like to check the time because, as you know, I can just talk for hours. So dampening this whole top section down again. The top half of the hair is always what you're going to find can be the most unruly. And that could be due to a lot of sun exposure. It could just be due to lifestyle. Like if you haven't always been a curly hair girl and you're starting to embrace your beautiful natural curl, then you know around that front would probably have had a lot of heat in the past. So it could have a lot of mechanical breakage or a lot of sensitivity to heat. So normally the top is probably what needs the most work and the most love and attention. One or two pumps of Miracle, tiniest amount of the defining cream. You want to make sure you just work it really, really well through your hands. Now I'm going to walk you through how to keep that root area flat and how to create volume when you're working with the defining foam. Once again, small amount. Tap in on the root. And if you're working on a slightly larger section like I am, it's always good to keep the foam in on the underneath section as well, just so you're targeting the roots all over. Working that product all the way through. Now, as I mentioned, creating lift. Some clients like lift, like Leah likes to have a little bit of lift that sits in on that top area. And some clients do like it to sit flatter. If you are wanting to create a flatter curl, take your section that you need. What you want to do is angle that hair down. So using either a brush or using your fingers to help direct and drag that hair down and then work away that way. What that is doing is allowing that root area to sit really nice and flat and then that curl to start in. You can even keep your hand here if you like as you twist that down. So as we work down. And then grab that section here just so we don't interrupt what we've done on the root area. And you can see that curl is forming beautiful shape here. So you can see from this side to this side that I've lifted this side up so you get a lot more lift here and then this side is sitting flatter. So that's if you want to create a flat curl. So creating flatness at the root area, always make sure that you direct down and then start creating your curl. If you're wanting to create lift and volume in this defined technique, what you want to do is lift the hair up. And remember when I was saying, you know, you start flat down and you go away? In this instance, you come all the way up. And what you want to do is just start twisting from the beginning. So lifting everything up in the air. You can see the difference between this section and this section here, that we are organically getting a lot of that lift right in on that root area. Now, there's a few things that you can do while this is setting. So as we've sort of tracked back, you can take a few little sectioning clips and you can lift up and you can pin, clip that up as that dries. And by clipping this section up as it dries, just allows, once again, that curl to form and sit in a lifted way. So then when you do break that away, you get that lift sitting there. So you can get small pin curl clips if you want to, and you can just lift up and pin. I like to, as I work, if I can, if the curl allows me. So as I was mentioning right in the beginning, you want to work on that organic fall of the curl. But if I can alternate my direction of curl as I'm working up, so having one curl go onto the face and then another curl going off the face, if I can work it that way, that gives, once again, a nice organic fall to the curl. It allows each curl to mold into one another, so you're not having any strong defining part either, and it eliminates the sections that you've taken. So you'll notice as your curl is sitting and as it's drying, you'll notice that you'll see each section that you've taken to create that curl. If you alternate the directions as you are setting the hair, when you go to break that away, you'll completely eliminate any section that you took. So it's a nice little tip for you guys. All right, I've got my last curl. Beautiful. So you can see Falia's hair is completely defined. This, in a perfect world, I would just allow to organically sit and set. For the purpose of today's video, you are not going to see this side defined out, but we're now going to work on this side. So Falia's hair on this side is now 100% dry. So we are going to break away that curl. There are a few ways that you can do it. You can either just use your hands and pull apart at the curl, or you can use a product to help you. So let me just grab it because it's behind the camera. This is the Smooth and Shine Anti-Frizz Serum. I love this product. I feel like it's such an underrated product. It's a fantastic product to help, once again, lubricate the foam, break away the cast. Once again, fights against humidity. So a fantastic product to celebrate the softness within the curl, add a little bit of shine into the curl too, and just help break away the cast that sits. So you can do this section by section, or you can just see curls that you want pulled out and you can just pull them away. So one thing that you don't want to do is take a comb or a brush to curly hair once you've set this cast. Like in this instance, if you want to completely recreate what I've done, the last thing you want to do is get a brush to it. Adding a brush or adding a comb to it is going to disturb the pattern that you've created. It's going to expand the hair more than what your client would probably want. This technique that I've done today is for that beautiful definition of the curl. So adding a brush or adding a comb to a set like I've done today is just going to ruin all the hard work that you've done, which we don't want to do because we know that this took a little while to get us there. So I just like to take one pump just to start off. So I work this into my hands and I work this the front and the back, because working the product in on the front of your hand and also the back of the hand, when you go in to shake away or break away the curl, having that little bit of product on the back of your palm is also hitting the hair as you're working in on the root area. So I mold this product all the way through. Let me just jump onto the other side. So what I like to do here is, like I said, is go in with the product. I like to start by massaging the root a little bit. So massaging that scalp is eliminating the sections that we took. So you can come in here. It's important to be gentle when you are doing this. Once again, you don't want to disturb too much the work that you've done. All we are doing is just molding in our sections together. Now, once again, it all depends on how your client would like their hair to look. So using the oil that's still in my hand from the serum, we can just go in and just separate the curls that are there. For Leah's hair, like I mentioned before, Leah likes quite a defined end result in her product, in her curl. So I'm not breaking away too much. You You can go in with your hands and just once again break away the sections that you've taken. Take the front piece in through here. And like I said, all you're doing, and because that product is all the way through, it's all over my fingertips, it's all over the back, the front, I'm just retwisting and breaking away. So this can help give expansion, this can help give lift, this can help fill out the hair more. So this technique of breaking this away will help give a beautiful thick curl feeling too. This is a very visual thing. Sometimes curly hair clients like to completely break away this and go in on every single section, separate it, pull it apart, and get quite a big curl. Like I said, for Falia, she likes still a quite defined, more compact curl. We were talking, she does like quite a rounded shape in the back. So by enhancing that shape and creating that shape in the back is really important for her as well. But for Falia around the front, she doesn't like to see a lot of shape as we sit in through here. So it's important to make sure that this curl hangs right around her cheekbone jaw area and just stretches down below that to help elongate her face. You can then go in and just give a slight shake if you want to. Like I was saying before, there are some people that are potentially watching that you might share this video with that just love to flip their head upside down and give their hair a really good shake and then flip it back and call it a day. Whichever way that you like to dress, you dress it. Once again, for today's video and for Falia, she loves more of a defined, compact, less expanded curl. It looks beautiful. So like I said, for the purpose of the video, we won't see this other side because it's setting. A rule of thumb is making sure that the hair is 100% dry before breaking away the cast. If the hair is still damp, the cuticle is still open, and that's where frizz can come into play. That's where the curl won't be as defined as you'd like it to be. If the hair's not 100% dry, as you break away that cast, the whole structure completely changes. So it's important to always wait until the hair is 100% dry before breaking away everything you see. And it's still, like we were saying before, it's still such a soft product. You can see I'm molding the hair, I'm moving the hair. There's no super strong crunch. There's no extreme heavy product feeling, which is fantastic. So once the other side of Falia's hair dries, we'll be able to dress that out. But I wanted to show you how incredible our new curl defining foam really is. Thank you so much for being here and for watching and for hanging out with me again. I love it. I want to be on here every week. Please make sure that you check out all the other incredible videos. We have such an amazing team on our Pro Live series. So make sure that you jump on and watch everybody else. Spread the love, share the love. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.
The luxury of self-destruction to be self-aware. Why?